Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another TFT Galaxy Podcast. We're on episode 28, where we high press on the news and the tactics of the club we love, the LA Galaxy. Today's episode, late goal cost Galaxy. Today we talk about the draw versus Vancouver Whitecaps and other general Galaxy news. I'm Eric.
I'm Chris.
How we doing?
Well, this is a little weird because
This is super weird.
We're not in the same room. So
this is very weird.
This is all new. This part's new for us.
Yes. So if we sound different than other episodes, it's because we are remote right now, and we're trying to figure out how to get this done every day or every week on the same day, so that we can deliver a podcast to you guys at appropriate times. So it sounds a little weird, and there's a little bit of growing pains to go through. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks for downloading, and thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. So we had a game versus Vancouver, and we were both there. It was at home.
We were,
and we got a 1-1 tie, and
1-1 draw against the best team in the league,
which
doesn't sound bad on paper. Yeah,
you would have taken that for sure, right? You would have 100% taken that before the game started. However, once the game started, felt like we maybe we got on the front foot there, and then things kind of fell apart in some sense. So let's go to the starting lineup. So we had Marcinkowski, who I think has solidified his starting position at goalkeeper. I think that race between him and Mitrovic is over. Marcinkowski is the winner, and he is your starting goalkeeper. We had Garces and Glesnes at center back. Cuevas and Nelson on outside backs, Hack playing that 6, Sanabria in the 8, Royce in the 10, Harbour Miller, Gabriel Peck on the outsides, and Paintsel at the 9. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, on your screen right now. What'd you think about the lineup?
I kind of figured that this is going to be kind of par for the course going forward with the injuries that have been sustained by the Galaxy. I mean, you're probably going to see this until the World Cup. And in all honesty, it should be this, or I think we're still waiting for that Glesnes Hack center back pairing. And I mean, Edwin Cerrillo came on as a sub, but I was a little shocked he didn't start.
I read Edwin Cerrillo's been dealing with some calf and foot issues or something, so he can play. Okay. He's playing through pain, but I think they were just trying to give him a day here to rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was to be expected. We have injuries and whatnot. Of course, we all know about those, but for the most part, to be expected. What wasn't probably expected is the goal that Joseph Paintsel got in the 46th minute.
Apparently, the Vancouver goalie was watching some old Galaxy highlights and was like, I think this is how you do it. Oh, wait, that's the wrong team. That's something that we would do.
That's kind of crazy that goal happened. It did look very, very Galaxy-esque in what we did. And that was scored in the right out the gate in the second half. Under a minute, right?
Yeah, it was 47 seconds. And it's crazy because we were watching the game, and the first half whistle went. We're like, dude, it was just boring.
Yeah, it wasn't super exciting.
No.
And then so we get a goal, great, and then we Greg Vanney changes the system and slots back into that 5-back system to try and protect a lead. So he brings on Yamane, Yoshida, and Winder, right?
Yeah, this happened like 80. No, when did this happen?
I think like 75th, somewhere around there.
Okay.
I could look it up right here, probably. That change happens in the 70.
Yeah, so almost the 80.
75th and
minute.
79th. I didn't realize Winder came on for Sanabria early, and then Yamane Yoshida come on for Harbour Miller in this basically 80th minute. So 10 minutes left with the idea of let's pack it in, right? I understand what he's thinking. He's thinking, let's get Yoshida on. He's good in the air. Stop the help on those crosses. I don't understand what he's bringing Yamane on for, actually. Let's bring Yamane on. Maybe Cuevas is tired. I don't know. And let's see what we can do and hold the lead and just kind of bunker down for 10 minutes. And literally, what was that? So 79th minute, they come on. And 81st minute, we give up a goal.
Yeah.
And it's not great for... it's not a great look for Yoshida and Yamane, who come on to secure a lead. We haven't conceded for 81 minutes. They come on, bam, goal.
Well, not only that, but it was a goal that was scored off of a free kick where a ball was just looped in there, and the guy just it wasn't a free header because there were just a bunch of bodies, but it was like, wait a second, Yoshida was brought on because he's good in the air and to mitigate those balls that are being put in, and the first one that's put in is a goal. Right.
So I have a couple things here that worry me a little bit. So you're watching the game. We get a tie, and we didn't do a podcast last week, but we got a win last week. So a win and a tie at home, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But when you're watching the game and you dig deeper into the stats, there's some concerning things. And one of the things I have written down here is, so you bring on Yoshida Yamane to secure the win. They failed at the one thing they were brought in to do. And it's bigger than that, right? Yamane is the one who fouls the guy first. The guy's going away. I don't know who it was. It might have been Berhalter. I'm not sure. But the guy's going away, back to goal, and he just pushes him down for no reason. Bam, he gives him a foul. Then, okay, Yamane failed, right? Now Yoshida, we got a set piece. You're in here to win these balls in the air. And then he fails, in his assignment. Not directly, but I mean like kind of indirectly. He's brought in to secure the air ball. And then they score a header. So they come on, and the two things they're brought on to do, within 2 minutes, they fail right away. That's concerning to me. Yeah,
and I'm sure at some point we're going to get to the comments made after the RSL game. So it kind of ties into what I want to say, because it's one of those things that obviously we're not in there for the team talk. The media doesn't talk to everybody, so we don't get a comment from everybody. But if you look at that and as a coach, number one, the foul should have never been given, because we teach that at amateur level of players facing away from goal. Just let it go backwards. You don't need to win the ball. You've already done your job.
Vanny mentions that in his post-match presser, where he says, "I don't know why we fouled there." He didn't call out Yamane particularly, but he did say that was a pointless foul. We shouldn't have fouled to begin with. Well, that's one of the subs he's bringing on with that responsibility to defend a lead, and he does something. He does something so silly to give that foul and to know that Berhalter's on Vancouver, one of the best set piece servers of the ball in the entire league, and you're going to give up a foul right there? On his right foot, in swinger, it has everything. It's the most dangerous spot for Berhalter to take a set piece.
Yeah, and they punished it for it, and I just would have loved. I mean, I never really have been a big fan of Vanny just kind of giving some of these ho-hum, quotes after a game. But if I'm coming in and be like, hey, I brought two guys on to try and secure a lead and get the 3 points, and they couldn't, I don't know if it was bad on my part for putting trust in them or what, but I mean.
Well, it does seem it does seem Yoshida just bleeds goals.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he's on, it's just you can't pin this directly on him, because you have Glesnes, who has air goal responsibilities. You have Garces, and you have Hack all with the hope that you have those 4 in, right, with Yoshida, they should not be winning a header. You got 4 elite headers. Garces, I don't consider an elite header, but he's decent. But you have Glesnes, Hack, and Yoshida, who are all really good in the air. They should not be winning headers.
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit on the other two as well. But when you're brought in with 10 minutes, Chris, you're 100% fresh. Okay? You're the team captain. You know why you're coming in. It's a set piece. It's the best set piece taker, arguably, in the league. Wake up! That's crazy to me that this happened when he was on the field. So that's concerning to me. Another note I have down that's concerning to me, because we've talked about this, and I have been critical of Royce this year, saying we can't rely on him. And I'm not really backpedaling. People are like, "Oh, look, he scored goals." He is, dude. He is without a doubt one of our best players. But we cannot rely on him. That is my entire point. Is he's older. He cannot play every game. We saw it in this game already. You're trying to play him too much. You're trying to put too much responsibility on him. He gets injured. He plays. I think it was like the 20th minute or something when you told me Royce is injured. He's not gonna come out after halftime, and he played like 20 more minutes after that. And you could say, like, yes, Royce is our best player. He's our most technical player. He's the guy getting it done. That's fine. But if your hope is put on Royce, we are in trouble because he's older. He cannot shoulder that responsibility at his age and give all the minutes and go into all the challenges and do all the work that's required of someone who's supposed to lead a team. We cannot rely on him.
No, and I don't think if you look back at every other time that we've talked about Marco Royce, we've never talked about him not being technically better than or the technical best player on this team. We've never said that. But also, Marco Royce doesn't have the greatest track history of staying healthy, even when he was a younger man. So that's very difficult to ask him to do that in a setting where he has to be the focal point. He's got to go up and down and everything. It's just at his age, it's not good. I mean, even if he didn't have a track record of being injured, it's still asking a lot of someone at his age to go up and down and to be that guy to run the show. It's just
right.
It's one of those things. And it was probably like the second or third challenge he went into. And I only noticed it in the 20th minute because when I forget who was being tended to, but then one of the trainers or one of the physios ran over to Marco Royce, and I'm like, oh, he's going to come off at halftime. Like, there's no way he's finishing this game.
And, well, the other side too is you kind of just hit on is if he's the focal point, then other teams are going to try and shut him down. And how do you shut down an aging Marco Royce? Just be physical. Just knock him out of the game.
Yeah,
it's part of the game. You could say, oh, that's ethically irresponsible for the other team. It doesn't matter. Like, they're here to win a game. I'm going to be physical on Marco Royce. He's their focal point. He's the guy who's scoring the goals. He's the guy who's giving the key passes. Get stuck in on him. Get him out of the game. So we can't build this team around Marco Royce. I don't care how technically good he looks or how many goals he scores. If he's the focal point, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and it can still be done in an ethical way. As two players who played in a defensive role at times in our career, we know that, hey, I can still be physical within the laws of the game, but hey, I may be a step late at one time, and even if it's just a normal foul, right? It's nothing malicious, no cards given or anything. You do that to the right person, the right part of their body, and it could shut them down, period. Or you could even go in, get stuck in, like you said, in a good, clean foul or a good, clean tackle with no foul called, and that could be their day.
Right.
And that's what he is.
So
and it's
yeah. So
it sucks because he is so technically gifted, and he is still so good, and his soccer brain is really, really good, but physically he cannot be the one who's taking all these kicks, who's taking all this physicality.
Right. So we have the Yoshida Yamane troubles. We have the over-reliance on Royce. Here's my next concern. Peck again gets his customary, I'm going to be defiant and petulant in the game and get a stupid yellow card for no reason. Like, I seriously think, and this was brought up earlier, I think, in preseason maybe when we were talking, but I would really love to ask Greg Vanney or to the Galaxy, can we please fine him from now on every time he gets a yellow card he should not be getting? It's not a challenge. It's not in the run of play. It's him controlling his emotions, him being responsible and controlling himself. Every single game, he's got to complain and get a yellow card, throw a ball away and get a yellow card. This time he took the ball and threw it over the advertising boards when it was there throwing, gets a yellow card. I mean, it's just like, it is just, and I've hounded on this for a lot, just the body language of Peck and him to do all this complaining all the time and to throw the ball up. There's no reason. Just get on with it, man. Just play the game. Play the game. So that's concerning.
Yeah, and we have talked about the finding system, and now here's my thing, because I'm pretty sure it's just like everywhere else in the world, 5 yellow cards and you get a 1 match suspension.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if later in the year you're fighting for that playoff spot? What if you are fighting for that playoff spot? He gets a dumb yellow that ends up being his 5th, and he has to sit out a must-win game, say on the last day, and now you're without one of your better players, and it hurts you.
He doesn't seem to care. He doesn't seem to care.
No.
And he's not being held accountable behind the scenes because he keeps doing it over and over again. Well, a little bit more on that later, but here's the next concerning thing. If we look at stats, and we hit on this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, or 1 episode or 2 episodes ago, winning and getting points is fine, but there are some stats that are not leaning our direction, which are a little concerning. So, for example, in this game, if you're watching, the Galaxy are in green here, so they're on the left of these stat sheets. 1.38 expected goals versus 2.6, right? So we should not have won. Yeah. Should not have tied, but we did. So we got away with one, which is fine. That happens occasionally. But you keep seeing this over and over again, right? Like this low expected goals. Possession, 38% to 62%. That is very on Galaxy. Our system's built around a possession-based system, right? Vanney ball is possession-based. So to come out of a game with 38% possession at home is concerning, right? Goalkeeper saves, 5-1. So Marcinkowski is saving way more. And then if you look at this attack map here, the brighter green it is, the more that's where Galaxy had the ball. The 2 areas where Galaxy had the ball the most are in our defending third on either flank. That's where we hold possession. Yeah. And if you look at the arrows here, the arrows indicate how often you attack down those areas, right? Left side, middle, and right. And we're so heavy down the flanks, we have no attack down the middle, okay? Now, if I switch to Vancouver's attack map, you will see that Vancouver is possessing the ball in the middle of third and in the upper left attacking third. And you can see they're much more balanced in attack. They attack more on the left flank, but the middle and right are much more balanced. And it's concerning because our entire system's built around possession, and we don't have it. It's built around creating chances out of possession, and our possession's in our defending third. It's not even in our middle third, let alone our attacking third. And when you compare that to what Vancouver did, we're lucky to go away with a point in this game. Absolutely lucky. Now, they're one of the best teams, sure. You could argue they're the best team in the West right now. You could argue that. But don't we want to be up there, right? Don't we want to be... If you see the stat sheet again, we're probably not walking away with a tie. We're probably walking away with a loss.
Yeah. And anybody who was watching the game should have walked away with a win.
We should have walked away with a win. We should have absolutely stole those 3 points.
Yeah.
But so that's quite a few things that, even though things are going our way, it's just concerning. Like, I think we're getting away with a little bit here, and we're outperforming, and we're getting a little bit lucky. So, I mean, I hope we can keep it up, but I don't know. I mean, no possession in a possession-based system is really concerning. The Yoshida Yamane thing is really concerning because we rely on them. Vanny relies on them, and the reliance on Royce is concerning. And then there's just a lot of concerning things. And even though we walked away with 4 points, didn't feel like we walked away with 4 points, you know?
Yeah.
There are some pros. Hack talked about in the post-match press conference that they need to be more physical, and that he's trying to be more physical. So we talked about this in the game. What I always have been saying the last couple of games is there's a hammer and there's a nail, and we seem to be the nail in every challenge, right? It seems like we're getting hurt every single game. Someone's getting hurt. Someone's getting taken out. Someone's with their hands up. And even if they are getting fouled, well, you got to stand up for yourself, right? So him talking about being more physical is good. And here's a real big one. They asked Paintsel about it. He was fouled 7 times, the most fouled player on the pitch. And they asked him, like, is that frustrating for you and stuff? Well, obviously. But he said, and to his credit, he credited Greg Vanny. He said, coach has been talking to me, and this is just something I need to expect. It's something I need to get on with. I can't complain. It's going to happen. They're going to try and foul me because of the player I am. And so I need to stay even. I need to not get upset. I need to not get frustrated. I just need to carry on. I just need to get up and carry on each time. And please, someone talk to Peck then. Why is Paintsel being told this? And in post-match, he's even crediting and saying, like, this is something I've been working on. Like, I recognize, and Greg Vanny has recognized, that I'm being too emotional when I'm getting fouled, right? Which he is. He was one of those running after the ref, complaining and yelling each time, throwing his hands up. And he's saying, I'm trying to learn just to get on with it. It's part of the game, and because I am who I am, they're going to foul me. So, Paintsel, can you have a conversation with Peck? Or Greg Vanny, can you have a conversation with Peck and tell him the same thing?
Yeah, and you looked at me a couple times in this game. You're like, every single challenge, there's a Galaxy player on the ground.
Yeah, we're gonna get hurt. We're gonna get injured, more players, because it just feels like. And this has been talking, and this has been talked. Hack says even Royce in the locker room, or maybe at a huddle before the game, or in the middle of the game, or something. He said Royce even referenced in this game, we need to be tougher. We need to be a little bit more nasty. Like, we're getting fouled. They're coming in hard on us. We need to stand up for ourselves. And that's a fine line, right? Because as a coach, when you tell a player to stand up for themselves and being more nasty, it can go the wrong way, right? You could have a player now kicking out or coming in late, and it's like, look, coach, I'm standing up for myself. Bro, you just got a red card, or you just got a yellow card, or you're fouling in that's not what we mean. Like, they have to do it smartly. They have to stand up for themselves. They have to know when challenges are coming in. They have to stand up to those challenges. And so we have Klaus injured in the run of play, Royce injured in the run of play, Aude injured in the run of play, Yoshida has been injured, Glesnes has been injured. Who else? Garces has been injured. Cerrillo is injured. Like, injury. Paintsel has been injured this year. Yep. Over and over again. It's tough. It's not just about, like, kick them more, because it's also about being crafty and getting out of the way of challenges, or recognizing when those challenges are coming in and going in a little harder. But it does seem like the Galaxy just get beat up every game. That's basically all I have for this game. There's some post-match pressers. This is a shocker. Greg Vanny asked about Paintsel. You'll love this, because you've been saying you want Paintsel to play more central and that forward position for a while, especially in the runs last year where we were struggling so bad. He says, I'm not even going to read it. I'll just summarize. Greg Vanny basically says, when Paintsel plays out wide, he kind of floats in and out of games sometimes, and we kind of lose him. But since we've been putting him up top, he really stays in games, and he's really having an effect on all the play. Hello?
I've said this, I don't know how many times, but I honestly think Greg Vanney does not realize or just flat out forgets how fast Joseph Paintsel actually is. And we saw it a little bit this game. It's still not the amount that I'd like to see it, of just, hey, play a ball in the corner, let Paintsel go in and chase it, and then let's see if we can get them to move out of their shape. Let's see if we can get a center back pulled out of position. See if we can get Harbor Miller, Marco Royce, Gabriel Peck, flying in, or Paintsel beats him on his own and goes and scores. But that's a whole system thing, which we've been talking about for months now, that realistically, A, needs to happen, but B, I do not think will happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough because in hindsight now, where we're at now, I think, and again, this isn't, I don't know if I would have predicted this to begin with, but I think we made some mistakes in who we signed in the offseason. And the reason I'm saying that is we very much need a creative type center mid. We didn't go out and get one. And I understand some of the pressures and some things, but we went out and got Klaus. And again, I've said I love Klaus. I think he's playing so hard for the Galaxy. He's hurt now, not his fault, whatever. But now over these last two games, and we saw this at the end of last season, it sure looks like Paintsel could fit in pretty well at that 9. And if he could fit in at that 9, then why did we waste a roster spot on a striker when we could have went out and try to get a creative player and maybe figure out that side of the game? Because Harbor Miller sure looks okay. And Cuevas can play out wide too, right? And when Aude's back, Aude's played on that wing. And I think you could find someone for that wing. And the way Paintsel's playing up top, or is capable playing up top, I think that would have been, in hindsight, should have been the play. Also, maybe not, even though I was for it as well, maybe not signing Nascimento, because if we had Paintsel and then an actual healthy, reliable backup, and then invested at the center mid position instead, at a creative player, I think we'd be in a whole lot better spot right now.
I'm going to take a 2-person poll of the TFT Galaxy. Of the 2 TFT hosts, which one called this before the season even started? Just show of hands. Who called this?
Well, I'm gonna guess it's you. I don't really. I mean, we talked about a lot of this stuff, and
every time it was brought up,
yes, you always
need it. Yeah,
yes.
And I just said you don't need a forward.
Yes,
because you already have one. I said it how many times?
Yes, maybe. I don't know how strongly you were, but you definitely had that opinion. Maybe you were strong. I don't remember. I'm getting older, okay? I don't have exact recall.
Luckily, it's the internet.
Okay.
And the stuff is still on there, so you can go back and listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, so... Okay. Even if you were right and it was you, I think now...
Even if it was right, okay.
I think now, what are we? We're 10 games in now? That was match day 10, right? Or 3, 4, yeah, I think that was match day 10. So 10 matches in now. You don't have a time machine. We can't do it. But it sure seems like that would have been the right play, right? This Nascimento thing has ended up again being an absolute disaster. How is this guy not on the field? How is this guy not able to help us? He's like 23 years old. He had injury issues coming in. We knew that. He had a decent year last year as a first-year player, but he had injury issues last year. And again, this is why I don't run teams. I was okay with re-signing him, but it sure looks like it was a mistake now. And you just hope you learn from these mistakes, right? You hope the front office learns from these mistakes. Like, okay, injury record is a little bit maybe more important than we think it is, even in younger players. We should have replaced Ricky. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss of words. Like we did talk a lot after Ricky got hurt that we need to replace Ricky, and we were hoping to replace Ricky, and we're hoping to replace Ricky, and we got Glesnes, and we were like, okay, we were asking for defensive add-ons too. Cool, we got Glesnes. All right, are they going to replace Ricky? Are they going to replace Ricky? We got Hack. Okay, all right, I like it. We need defense. We're investing in defense. Okay. Who's going to replace Ricky? Who's going to replace Ricky? Who's going to replace Ricky? And then you got Klaus. And you're like, okay, we got a forward. What are we going to do about the Ricky spot? And then they go out and get Eric Tommy, who I think is supposed to be not a replacement for Ricky, but cover at that position. But he's had injury issues for the last couple of years. And he started the year injured, played a couple of games, injured. He got injured in the run of play. There's another guy we didn't talk about who got injured in the run of play. Got taken out, kicked in the ankle or something, and got injured. But now we are so thin at that position. So let's assume Royce is out for this week. We go up to is this week to the Seattle game?
It's Atlanta.
Atlanta. Chris is going to Atlanta. He will be at that away game.
I will be in Atlanta.
So we're going to Atlanta, which is a winnable game because Atlanta's not great, but it is an away game, so away games are tough. But let's just assume we go in without Royce. I'm assuming that means Winder plays.
It's almost like we played a game earlier this year. I think it was second or third game. Didn't have Royce in the lineup and had a midfield trio of Cerrillo, Winder, and Sanabria, and won already. And then we've never seen it again.
Oh, actually, I don't think that's going to happen, Chris. I think it's going to be Hack, Cerrillo, Sanabria.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree or disagree with that. We invested in Hack. I haven't been the biggest fan of Hack. I don't think he's played bad. I just don't think he's played like outstanding. But maybe he just needs to be played to learn. Maybe. Winder.
But
go ahead.
Before we started, I said even when we were looking at the lineup, I said we have not seen the Glesnes Hack pairing yet. Perfect time for it.
We did in CCC one time, I think, right? In Champions Cup, I think we did one time.
What's wrong with throwing it out in Atlanta?
I think, I don't think Winder had a great game. I don't think Winder's had a couple of good games. He hasn't looked great. So that's one reason why I think we won't see Winder in the starting lineup. And I think he really wants to play Hack. I think he really wants Hack at center mid because he wants someone who can win the ball in the air. He wants a little bit more physicality, and he doesn't want to sacrifice Garces for Hack. That's just the feeling I get. I don't know if I disagree or agree at this point. Garces has had an up and down year as well. We didn't do a podcast last week, but Chris, talk about lucky last week. Garces did a linebacker tackle on a breakaway. Absolute red card. Absolute red card. And we just get lucky. Oh, yeah. And somehow we have a blind VAR referee that night or something, and we get away with it. When it should have been a sending off. We should have been down a man, and that would have changed the entire game. So we got lucky even in our win a little bit. Garces hasn't looked great this year. But, man, I don't know. We got to keep Yoshida off the field. You got to keep Yoshida off the field. That means Garces plays or Hack plays at center back. And I just think Vanny at this point is going to stick with Garces because he wants both Garces and Hack in the game. So I don't think we'll see Winder. But even then, even if Winder comes in or Sanabria is asked to run a little bit more of that position, they're both not creative type players to unlock defenses, I don't know. To my point, I just think in hindsight, we should have replaced Ricky Pooge and we didn't. and I think it's going to bite us this season because I think we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle getting from, which a lot of teams do, right? We've coached many teams who struggle if you try to run a build-up, going from the defensive third to the middle third, and let alone the middle third to the attacking third. That's a whole problem we're not even having right now because we're not even transitioning possession to the middle third. That first half, we sat on, what would that be? The north end?
Yes.
We're on the north end, and we saw very, very, very little play on our end. It was for the most part Vancouver in our end possessing the whole time. We can't even transition from winning a ball to maintaining possession on their half. That's an issue, and that's something that creative midfielders would help you do, but we don't have that player. So I don't know.
But like we said, like thinking about how you mentioned, Sanabria and Winder, maybe not the most creative, but you can do a lot more with them if you change the role. If you change
the system, if you decide to go on the front foot and press and use our mobility, yeah, you can. But I don't have faith we're going to do that.
No, in the RSL game, looked really good. I put it down in the notes as I was watching. It looked really good when the ball was moving to touch. It was bypassing the middles and going, or it was getting into the 6 and then getting spread out wide. It looks really good like that.
Yeah, I mean it's not rocket science, right? If you're looking at the stats and you see we're holding the most possession in our back third on either channel, well then just play some vertical passes and let's get out of this space and build a little bit. Now, we didn't talk about this, but from last week, so we've had, did we look at 3 announcers talking bad about the Galaxy?
Yes.
Ourselves, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot.
No, it was.
It was at 2 for us.
We talked about 2 of them, but we talked about in the
So
forget which game it was. That one guy said it like multiple times.
So Heath Pierce is the one I remember because I remember Heath Pierce. He's an American and he was in MLS.
And then,
talked about
the
really slow transition back to defense and how people were walking. That was like, I don't know, a month ago, 4 weeks ago, 4 games ago. And then 2 games ago, the announcer, I forget his name. He had that, I don't know. He had a very long name, an English,
British,
a British, and he was played in the Premier League, like 400 appearances. And he mentioned a lot of things about building out of the back and what are they doing? They can't keep doing this. And then last week we did do a podcast, and I didn't listen to the live broadcast. I kind of watched. I was somewhere else and I didn't have the audio on loud enough. But Taylor Twellman talked some crap about the Galaxy and referenced their commitment and their energy levels over the last couple of games. And before we get into what Greg Vanney's response is, and we talked about this ourselves, you have 3 former players. You can't, as Greg Vanney, just disregard their opinions because these are 3 former players. These aren't color commentators. This is not me and you, people he doesn't know, people who have been involved in amateur soccer, just talking heads. These are people who are paid to analyze soccer games and who have played at the highest level. And for 3 weeks in a row, the announcers have been referencing the negative things they're seeing about the Galaxy, right? And a lot of it is like culture type pieces, right? Like work rate, or tactical pieces. Like why are they working up out of the back? Why won't they make decision? Why won't the leaders step up? Why? And so he was asked about this in press conference, and Greg Vanney, I will summarize what he said because I think he dropped a couple F-bombs, which is very on Greg Vanney-like. Said, I think Taylor Twellman has forgot what it's like to play in this league. The guys are playing really hard. He's referencing his team. The guys are really committed. They're playing really hard. And you can say that, but we well know when you're inside, it's so hard to gauge your own team, right? If you have someone like, and don't get me wrong, I've said this a million times to you, I hate Taylor Twellman. I think he's so bad at what he does. Okay. So I don't agree with many of his takes. And I think he does not like the Galaxy. That's the many reasons I don't like him. He has talked crap about the Galaxy for many, many years. But you can't have multiple people saying things and then have Greg Vanney say that's not true. But we're seeing it. Like, you could tell me it's not true, but I have eyes. I've been around the game my entire life, and I see it. So whatever you're seeing, you're insulating yourself. You're not being honest with yourself, or you're too closely connected, right? Because multiple people have seen this, right? You and I see it. We brought it up. These commentators are seeing it. For Greg Vanney to just disregard it and be like, no, is insane. Like, you have to be, it's insane.
Yeah, and my thing to that is, why is it just when Taylor Twellman said it did he snap back at it? He never said anything about when Keith Pierce said it. He never said anything, when when it was. I
think because Taylor Twellman is the number one broadcaster first. He's always on the number one game for Apple TV. Mm-hmm. And he was asked about it in a press conference. He wasn't asked about the other two in the press conference. But clearly it hit a nerve. You wouldn't react that way if you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. But like you said, we have eyes. Greg, your team would not have been booed off the field multiple times at home if they were just given everything and it just came up a little short. Your team would not be in the position it is if your players were going up and down as hard as they should be. It would not be like this.
Yeah, it's hard to reconcile what you see and to tell I guess in this case all the Galaxy fans, everyone watching MLS, that Taylor Twellman's wrong and doesn't know what he's talking about. Well,
basically he's saying we're all wrong if we all think that.
Right. And he's going to reference the congested schedule. And I'm going to say this to give him a little bit of backing here. I don't agree. But LAFC's coach, I don't know if you've seen the tirade he had at a press conference, where he also has been very critical of MLS's treatment of LAFC and the congested schedule and the travel that they have to do. And he's kind of saying the same things Greg Vanney's saying in terms of he feels like MLS, which many leagues do, look out for these top teams, change schedules, give them a bye week here or there because they're involved in these bigger competitions. In fact, even in Champions Cup this year, like some of the teams in Champions Cup have been given bye weeks from other nations to rest them. The Jamaican team that we played was given a week off so that they can be 100% and try to take the Galaxy on. And other leagues have done that around the world. So I understand being critical of it. I get it. But has that derailed LAFC's season? No. So it's one thing being critical of it and seeing, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe they're tired. But man, they're still giving 100%, right? They're still getting results. They're still doing what they need to do. It's another thing to complain in the midst of poor performances, in the midst of dropping points we're not supposed to, in the midst of other people seeing, why does the team look slow? Why is the team not tracking back? Why is the team not? And you can reference all these other things, but we have other teams in the league that are complaining about the same things, and they're finding a way to get it done. That's the difference for me.
It just sounds like you're making excuses.
Right. So you can complain. I think Greg Vanney has every right to complain about the miles they've traveled and the congested schedule they've played. But it can't be an excuse to back up why results haven't come through, right? It's got to be a story of resilience, not a story. It's got to be like, despite all this, which I don't agree with, despite us playing this, despite us playing that, we've come through, and I'm so proud of this team and what they've done. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, well, we're dropping points and we're playing poorly and we look lethargic because of those things. You got to be resilient. You got to find a way through it. So, yeah. So for all of those hoping for Greg Vanney to be let go, Well, that leash got quite a bit longer these last couple of games with 4 points in 2 games, and maybe rightfully so, maybe wrongfully so. It depends what you think. But at this point, I cannot imagine him being let go before the World Cup break. So the only question is, and I can't imagine them, if he stays, letting him go after the World Cup break. So really, I think the question is for the Galaxy and Greg Vanney is, does he make it through the World Cup break? And to make it through the World Cup break, we have 4 games left, I believe. And so it's what's going to happen, Atlanta, Seattle, and, well, let's look it up because I don't know. I know we have Atlanta. I know we have Seattle. It was Kansas City, right?
Let's see.
Okay, so we're at Atlanta, at Kansas City, at Seattle. So 3 away games. Now keep in mind, we didn't win an away game for like a year and a half. Okay, so we're at Atlanta, at Kansas City, at Seattle, home versus Houston. And then we get our massive break. So a lot is riding on these last. If we drop a lot of points in the last 4 games, I could see the Galaxy over the break, because it gives them an extended period of time, go in a different direction. But if Greg Vanney and the Galaxy manage to take points in these last 4 games and put themselves in a decent position, then I imagine Greg Vanney stays, and then he's going to stay through the year. So as far as the Greg Vanney watch goes, that's what I think.
He's going to drop. If he loses, he could lose all 4 of these games, and I bet he'll get a contract extension.
Well, that's possible too. I do think if he loses, if he loses all 4, he's gone.
I think he's got to go because that's 12 points, right?
16 points. 12 points. You're right, 12 points. Sorry.
It's 12 points.
4 games, 12 points.
Yeah. So out of 12 points, do you think there's a minimum number he has to get to for him to be able to finish the year out?
I don't think it's necessarily a minimum number, because I think, and it should be this way, I think, and I think it is, I think you have to look at who the Galaxy are playing and how they show in relation also to the points you're getting. So I think you're going to Atlanta. I think you expect a point in Atlanta, right? If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's not a big deal, but I think you expect a point. You're hoping for a win, of course. At Kansas City, I think you're hoping for a win. So I think and then at Seattle, I think you're expecting a loss. So I think you're looking at 4 points on the road on those 3 games. If you could get 4 points on the road in those 3 games, I think that's a win for Greg Vanney and the Galaxy. I don't know if the bar, I can see you shaking your head, so maybe the bar is too low. I just think that's where the bar's at. And then if he gets 4 points on the road, I don't think it matters what happens at home against Houston. They can lose and he stays. So I think the only way he goes is if you lose to Atlanta, you lose to Kansas City, that's bad. That's really bad, because those are not great teams. And if you haven't gotten a point, if you lose in Atlanta and lose in Kansas City, I think he's in trouble. And if he's in trouble at that point and he goes to Seattle, which is a tough game, and then he loses in Seattle, I think if he goes 0-3 on that road trip, I think he's in some serious trouble. I think the Galaxy's in serious trouble. And because the Galaxy's in serious trouble, I think he will be in serious trouble. But who knows? Of course.
Because looking at this, because Atlanta is in 12th in the East, KC is at the bottom of the West, Seattle is 4th in the West, and Houston is, let me find Houston. Houston is 8th in the West. So realistically, you're getting teams that are mid to bottom. We're 10th in the West right now.
Right.
So you're getting a team that's lower in the East and a team that's right on par, and then a team that's bottom. And then Seattle, who's top 4 in the West.
That's why I think that game in Atlanta, that game in Kansas City are huge, right? If we don't win one of those, we're in trouble.
In all honesty, going into this, I would almost look at that as you have to take 6 points for sure from the road. If you can get anything out of Seattle, that's perfect. And then
I don't think.
right,
I think there's no way they're going to say 6. I would say the low bar would be 2 points.
6 from 9.
Sorry, I'm just talking about Atlanta and Kansas City. I would think 4. Four would be your best. I would think. If you got 6, wow. But if you can go 4 points in Atlanta and in Kansas City, great. I think the low bar would be 2. If you walk away less than 2, that's a loss and a tie, or 2 losses. That's bad.
Okay.
Because, and then at Seattle, I think you just go like, well, let's see what happens. I mean, that's going to be a tough game. If you lose Seattle, you just lose. But you try to steal a point, and if you can steal all 3, great. And then you got to win at home. But the Seattle-Houston game are much tougher games, right? So I think, and it depends on what they do in Atlanta. It depends what they do in Kansas City to where the pressure is going to be on the team too. If they do well in Atlanta and do well in Kansas City, there's going to be very little pressure in Seattle, obviously, because everyone knows it's a tough game. And then the last game at Houston, there'll be very little pressure because it's a home game. It's the last game, major break. But if they lose both those and they're coming in with 0 points into Seattle, wow, that becomes a pressure cooker now. Like, are they going to go 0-3? And if they go 0-3, that last home game, there's a lot of pressure now. So I think the Atlanta-Kansas City game are huge, huge. But I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to see what happens.
We're going to see what happens. I think at this point, the way we're playing, I'm actually kind of optimistic that they're going to do something in Atlanta and Kansas City. Because I don't think Atlanta and Kansas City are great. I mean, we know Kansas City's not. Of course, we know they have a former G, so that's always difficult. He's going to probably score 4 goals on us. And
they've already beaten us this year.
They've already beaten us. And Atlanta's not great, but we know they have great players, and we know they have a pretty good coach. So they can turn around at any point, right? And so that's the worry there is maybe they just have a bad run, and we become the team they turn it around on, right? Atlanta's probably thinking, thank God Galaxy are coming to town, right? Whew. Like this is a game we can turn our season around on. And that's concerning and a problem. But there you go. Okay. I do have some other news here, a little bit out. One rumor refuses to die, Chris. And that is the Casemiro to LA Galaxy rumor. And this is reported yesterday. I thought, okay, this is done, right? Well, this says right here by World Soccer Talk, and I saw it on several stories. Let me get it on the screen there for you guys. Inter Miami reportedly at disadvantage to LA Galaxy in race for Casemiro. So they're reporting that Galaxy is still interested in Casemiro and holds the upper hand in where he's going to go.
I think we have his discovery rights.
Right. So Miami would have to trade something to us to get him. But this article reads not like Galaxy's interested in like, hey, Miami, what are you going to give us? It seems more like Galaxy might be interested in signing him. I don't know how they do that. They'd have to get rid of pieces. They'd have to get rid of pieces, right? And so one piece I can see them getting rid of, which I think could probably make this happen, because I can see Casemiro taking a pay cut to come to Galaxy, at least on the short, is Aude's making like 1.2 million. He's injured. There's been lots of rumors of him leaving every single year. There's interest back in Argentina for him. I can see them moving a couple pieces to make room for Casemiro. Can you speak a little bit to what you think, or if you think Casemiro would solve any problems for the Galaxy? Because he's a United player, so you've watched him for years.
Yeah. One thing that I can see Casemiro doing is he could be the one from a deeper lying position to play those balls and kind of be the focal point of the breakout and do what we've been talking about. Of he can play in possession, but it's he also has shown both at United and at Madrid that he can play some beautiful long balls. The passion is off the charts.
Okay.
What about passion's off the charts?
What about the physicality?
In his older age, you seen clips of him where if he's had to cover for guys, number one, he has done it, but also he's not afraid to hold those guys accountable. Like there was one where he had to go chase down a guy that one of the wingers just kind of let go, chased him down, made a tackle on, and I think it was one of those 50-50 yellow card things. He got yellowed, and he went to the guy that he covered for. He goes, "I got that yellow because of you." So, in terms of that, in terms of the hard work and everything, that's there. That's something
that's a major piece the Galaxy need.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that because he is older, and you see it right now at United, he's not as mobile as he was at Madrid. He can sit back in front of those two center backs and be that shield in front of them. But also you see him on set pieces this year, and holy cow, he's been scoring headers. He's been scoring off of set pieces and stuff like that. Corners. I think he's Bruno Fernandez's favorite target this year.
Okay.
I think the Bruno to Casemiro that link up has been the most popular, not only at United but in the Premier League. So it's something that on multiple fronts he can give a giant boost to the Galaxy.
Okay, that's good. That's good. MLS power rankings. Not that power rankings matter. In our last bit of news here, Galaxy are sitting 15th, which I think is probably pretty fair, right in the middle of MLS. Of course, if they're in the middle of MLS, what they're basically saying is we are a playoff team, the bottom end of a playoff team, but a playoff team. And I'm not quite sure if we're a playoff team right now. I don't think currently, I don't know. I would say we're on the outside looking in from what I see right now, unless things turn around and change. Because again, we've talked about this a lot. We haven't played Seattle yet, or San Diego, or LAFC, or Miami, or there's a lot of top teams. We've played Vancouver now, but there's a lot of top teams that we haven't played. But if you're keeping track for where the Galaxy are in the grand scheme of things, MLS Soccer has them power ranked at 15th. And then in our last bit of news here, I just thought this was funny. Team of the match day for this last match day. And, first, who appears on it is Laborda from Vancouver. He's the one who scored their goal. Center back. He had a pretty good game, so he's on it. And Christian Ramirez is on the bench. So, I don't know. When it keeps happening over and over again, maybe Christian Ramirez wasn't the problem. Maybe the system was a problem for Christian Ramirez. I think we both kind of felt that anyways. And I'm glad. I'm glad Christian Ramirez is scoring goals. He scored a goal for Austin in a win this weekend. So he had a header. And so he gets a goal and he gets to put on the bench. And so a former G on the bench there. So just kind of interesting. Obviously, the Galaxy had no players on Team of the Match Day. And that's about all I got, man. You got anything else?
There was one. And it was the fact that I think we both had the same thing. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. We're gonna get together a large amount of money to get a coach personally for John Nelson and teach him which way is forward on the field.
Man, back in the old Galaxy days, Pete Vianis was our 6, and they used to call him back in the day Pass Back Pete. And same thing, like pass back Pete. Every time he got the ball, pass back. Every time he got the ball, pass back. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, look forward. Pass back Pete, pass back Pete. That was his nickname. Yeah, and Nelson, we talked about in this game, he gets the ball, and both of us said, he doesn't even look forward. He immediately looks back and plays back. And sometimes there are runs up there, and he's not even seeing them.
Yeah. It got to the point where he got the ball, and I had come down to sit, we were sitting down in your seats, so we were right there, right, first row, and I stood up and I said, please, John, forward. Just kick it. I don't care if it goes to a player. I don't care if we get the ball. Just show me that you can kick it forward up the field. And he did.
Well, you said it pretty loud, and he definitely heard you. And then he did it.
I'm sure he heard me.
And he probably was like, I didn't do it for that guy. But he did do it.
I did. It was one of those, I did it because I wanted to, not because you told me to.
Exactly. He definitely, he passes back every time he gets the ball. Just immediately pass it back. Immediately pass it back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either going backwards or it's going square. I think I can count on one hand how many times he's played the ball forward this year.
Yeah, crazy.
Obviously, that's an over-exaggeration, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all we got. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Sorry about last week, but if this goes well, and we don't know if it will, I still got to edit it and post it. But if you're listening to this now, that means it went okay, and that means Chris and I can record even when our schedules are insane, like they have been this week as well. So that'll be good. We'll try to do the studio as much as we can because I think the quality's better. But when we can't, if this works, it works. So appreciate you sticking around and hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate it. Any last words, Chris?
If you're cruising around Atlanta, if you're cruising around the Mercedes-Benz and you see this ugly mug, say what's up. If you listen to the pod, I have already brought up to Eric a couple times that hey, there may be a merch, a TFT apparel coming out soon. So we're talking about stuff. Because I want to rep it outside of just our podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. We're moving in the right direction. And that's a good thing, right? As we have growing pains and we're figuring out a lot of this, and this is a big step, figuring out how to do it even when we're not together. So, all right. Well, like I said, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we hope you guys all have a great week. And watch that. That's that Saturday game.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Okay. So
Saturday, it's 4th. I'm pretty sure it's a 4:30 p.m. Pacific game, a 7:30 game out in Atlanta. So
4:30 Apple TV. We'll be watching from here. Chris, safe travels and represent us. Don't be a hooligan out there, okay?
Nope, no hooliganism. Those days are behind me.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye.
See you guys.